Hey guys, it's Sean Klinger with VitalMX. I'm with Willie Simons, our tester for today, and we are taking a look at the first 2022 bike that we got. It is the 2022 KTM 250 SXF. It is exciting that we get the 2022s already. What is a little bit of a bummer, most of these bikes are going to be unchanged this year. It's a COVID situation, not a lot of changes going on. So the only thing that is changed inside this motorcycle is there's an internal bearing that got changed for durability. Other than that, what we can see is a bright orange frame that everybody loves, and then some new graphics. We both rode it in the shootout, you know, the 2021, which is basically the same. We rode that in the shootout, and we're going to kind of start from there and kind of see what we changed today from stock here and see if they match up. So Willie, what did you think of the bike today?
Yeah, initially when we first did our 21 shootout, I spent a decent amount of time on the KTM, but not a whole lot. And I wasn't super jazzed on the KTM during the shootout. I was kind of struggling with the forks and other things like that. So I was excited to get back on it today and just focus mainly on that bike. Sometimes when you're jumping around from bike to bike, it's kind of hard to address one thing that maybe you don't like. So today, everything that I felt with the KTM was phenomenal. I was kind of shocked, and it's the same bike, so I'm like, oh. But no, the bike, honestly, the bike makes great power, and initially my feel with at our 21 shootout was that it was kind of, the power was super high in the RPMs compared to the other models that we were riding that day, and I wasn't meshing with the way the power was. I was kind of looking for more, but riding here today, I didn't leave map 1, which is supposedly the more mellow map, and lugging it in a high gear, high in the RPM, the thing was just popping wheelies on me left and right. So also too, on the shootout, like I said, I was kind of struggling with the air fork a little bit. Set it to the same bar pressure that we did here in Kauai for our shootout, which was 10.2. I know stock is 10.5. So I like that height. The height for me is good right there with that pressure, and just had to soften it up a little bit. So
yeah, and it's funny because it works out kind of well with our weights being different, but our speeds being different as well. Like, you're much faster than me, but I prefer a softer fork as well. So 10.5 is stock, 10.2 bar is actually what I preferred as well.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier, I think a lot of people forget that with air forks, the pressure is, yes, if you go too high, it could be considered a spring rate and it could be super stiff and throw your whole setting off. But where people I think forget, and I've done it in the past too, is the pressure is more along the lines of kind of a ride height of where you want the fork to sit in the stroke, and then from there, adjusting the clickers to the dampening that you need. So 10.2 is a really good, I feel, middle height for the fork. The track when I was riding earlier this morning wasn't super rough, so I kind of just ran with it, and we checked the sag as well with my weight. We ended up at 100.
It was a little bit less than 100. It was like 99.
Yeah, so with 100 millimeters of sag and that height, the bike feels, for me, really, really balanced.
Yeah, well, if I remember correctly, I think, the track, obviously it's 6 months ago, almost a year ago, so track's gonna be completely different. Today, the track is really deep. So all year, I've been on the Gas MC250F, and so obviously basically the same bike, but different suspension settings. And what I found riding this guy's stock is that, like, the gas kind of starts in a comfort setting, and then I wanted to stiffen it up for my speed. This guy starts at more of a performance setting, and I wanted to soften it down a little bit. So, I mean, just for those out there that are kind of trying to decide, all right, I got a Husky, a gas, and a KTM, all very similar bikes. Which one am I gonna choose? Kind of look at it that way. Power-wise, for me, I went to map 2. I wanted more of aggressive hit. Same as all the KTMs. The bottom end is kind of linear and smooth. You get in the mid-range, more power there, and then if you rev it out, that's where it likes to be. The fit and finish, like you said, great clutch, great brakes. That all feels really well. The chassis is super slim. It's still, I think, the lightest of all the 250Fs. I mean, obviously we haven't weighed them all this year. A new Honda's on the way, so we're not sure, but it's a very light bike. Handling is really nimble. So your bike personally is a 350. Compare riding, spending some time on the 350, just power plant wise.
Yeah, so my personal bike, 2020 Husky 350, and just bought it just for fun because I've always been on 250s. My 350 is really, really fun to ride. It's kind of the perfect in between of I can lug it a little bit and it's got enough power to, still go at a good rate of speed, or once it gets higher in the RPM, you can rev it out. So it's kind of that happy medium where the 250 is, you can kind of abuse it a little more and be a little bit more aggressive and stuff like that. And
maybe a little less arm pump.
Yeah, definitely get more arm pump on my 350. But that was initially too. Like I said, the bike is it's unchanged besides cosmetics and some durability stuff. But for some reason today, it could have been the track conditions, it could have been other factors, but this bike felt really good to me. Usually, like we said in our previous shootout, the KTM makes all the power high in the RPM, and today I kind of felt like I could ride the bike kind of all over the map and it was going to make power regardless, which is something that I didn't feel during the shootout, and that really impressed me today. And I was having a bunch of fun on it, especially in the morning when the track was deep. So
yeah, and one last change that we both did to the shock was actually free up the rebound a little bit. It felt like coming into some of the chop, it would kind of hit those bumps, and it wasn't that it was harsh or anything. It would just pack and stay low, and it was always kind of like you're waiting for it to pop back up to charge forward, and it just kind of stayed sucked down.
Yeah, the track, like I said, it was fairly smooth. Coming in, it did get some chatter and a little pack. The shock's not coming up quite as fast, and then it's loading itself and kind of raising the forks, and it unbalances the bike. So I think we went 3 out, and from what you said, it obviously helps. So I know the vet track had some pretty gnarly holes in the in the ruts. So all in all, these are all great bikes, but man, had a lot of fun on this one today.
Well, if you guys are on vitalmx.com, go to our YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, check out vitalmx.com. Click like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.